What is poppin', y'all? It's your man, Cloudboy Bells. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly. Obviously, we saw the news 2 days ago. Corbin Burnes has been traded to the Baltimore Orioles for prospects D.L. Hall, Joey Ortiz, and the 34th overall pick in this year's MLB draft. Regardless, this is a landmark week for the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles had one of the best overall records last year, the best record in the AL last year. They were really showing how good of a team they really are. And now, the only thing I was saying that the Baltimore Orioles needed to compete is an ace pitcher. And now they finally got that guy. The Orioles are obviously, getting new management, doing lots of other things, and they're on the right direction. They really look like a team that can compete for a World Series now with Burnes in the mix. It's a big deal. And the Brewers, on the other hand, they get some guys that are prospects that have actually got some playing time. And it's not prospects that are going to be like, oh, these guys are not going to get playing time. No, these guys have gotten playing time for the Orioles last year. And actually, these are two players that have potential to really be players that are, actually could contribute in the future of the organization. Those players being shortstop infielder Joey Ortiz and left-handed pitcher D.L. Hall. Ortiz was the number 5 prospect and Hall was the number 6 prospect in Baltimore's organization ahead of last year's season. The Brewers will also receive the 2024 Competitive Balance Round, a draft pick from the Orioles to complete the deal, which would be the number 34 selection. First off, talking about Corbin Burnes, being able to watch that man pitch in person has been one of the most excellent things ever. In my mind, I think Corbin Burnes is one of the best pitchers we ever got to witness in this organization. Winning a Cy Young Award, giving the Brewers some chances in the playoffs. He was the leader of our team, and being able to watch him pitch was just something excellent. And I'm super happy that, of the time that he spent as a Brewer. I know that the arbitration stuff and everything was kind of a big blur last year, but, Burnes, even though I guess you could say that this last season was a little bit of a downhill year for Burnes, but those years in 2020, 2021, 2022, those were some phenomenal years out of Corbin Burnes. And we got to see 6 years of a phenomenal pitcher. 3rd best ERA in the team's history. He's, I think he's like 4th overall on the team in strikeouts. I mean, the guy has done so much good things for this team, and he is the real reason why this team has had success in these last couple of years. He was the player that we needed. And it's going to hurt to see him play on another team, but were we going to re-sign him? No. I mean, I think everybody knows that. We didn't have the money for him, or if Mark Ananasio is being cheap, but we don't know. If that's the thing. If we truly didn't have the money for him, I'm assuming we didn't, because usually a Cy Young winner is going to obviously be high in the stakes. That's obviously why Blake Snell hasn't been signed by a team yet, because he thinks all these pitchers think that they deserve all this money and no one has the money, But it's crazy, Corbin Burnes is now going to a Baltimore team that was so good last year. They could have made a World Series run, but I think what they were holding back from last year was an ace pitcher. Now they got that, and Baltimore is going to be one heck of a team to watch next year. That's all I'm going to say. On the other hand, the Brewers are obviously looking like they're going to go back in the rebuild, but yet we're still competing phase. They signed Rhys Hoskins. They signed some minor leaguers. Christian Arroyo got signed to a minor league deal. Now they got Jory Ortiz in this trade. And also, DL Hall could be a guy that actually could be a great pitcher. I was watching the Orioles play, and this guy was actually getting significant pitching time. And he actually looked very promising. A left-handed pitcher. He was showing off his stuff. The way that he throws the ball, he had some control issues, and I think a lot of pitchers had that, but someone who had a left-hand pitcher who had control issues in the start of a career and turned out to be one of the best relievers we ever had, Josh Hader. This DL Hall guy could turn out to be that. I don't know if he's a starter. I don't know if he's a closer or a bullpen pitcher. I don't know what role he'll be, but lefties were our weakness, and now we got some lefties. Now, our starting pitching rotation is very weak now. I mean, Burnes was the only thing holding it together, but now our ace is Freddie Peralta, who can be inconsistent at times. Last year was his best year of his career, but he can be inconsistent. Wade Miley showed that he can still pitch at a high level, but he's injured all the time. We have Joe Ross, who hasn't pitched in the majors in years. Colin Ray, who ended up having to start games because of our injuries last year. And the rest of our guys are a bunch. And then, Aaron Ashby will be back. And I'm assuming now with Burnes gone, I feel like they're going to have to start Ashby. I was hoping he'd be more bullpen, but I feel like now he'll have to start games. And then, there's some rookies in there. I almost said Josh Gosser. Robert Gosser. Jacob Mizorowski, who they're really high on, and I've seen his stuff. This guy's going to be a stud. And Carlo F. Rodriguez, another guy. It's the same exact thing back in 2018. Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, and Corbin Burnes all getting called up and becoming what they are. Maybe these guys are the next group of individuals that are part of this pitching staff. On the other hand, this DL Hall guy, what if he turns out to be a stud? I don't know if he's going to be bullpen. I don't know if he's going to be reliever. But for some reason, this organization knows how to get knows how to really develop phenomenal relief pitchers. We didn't even lose any of our guys. We still got Devin Williams, Payamps, Uribe, Milner, Peguero, McGill, Wilson. We still have all those guys. So to be fair, despite our starting rotation being really weak, we still got some good relievers. Now, I think obviously this year we're going to see these rookies. I now think Robert Gosser will be on the opening. He'll be in the starting rotation. I believe that will be. I don't know if it will be bullpen or starting, but I believe he will be on the opening day roster now. I think Mizorowski will be called up eventually this year. I don't know when, but it will happen. Because I think this is a rebuild year. They're not going to do much this season, and I feel like there's going to be a lot happening. Another thing that I feel like will probably happen, let's talk about Jory Ortiz a little bit. He's not someone that shows power. He's a contact hitter. And that's something that we were lacking for a long time. Everyone tried to be the home run hero, tried to hit the home runs, do all that stuff. We didn't really have many contact hitters. Our contact hitter last year was Andrew Monasterio. That's why he was a starter last year. He had great contact. Apparently Joey Ortiz is the same exact type of player. He's also a phenomenal defender as well. This is a guy that could actually be a starter if the mechanics go the right way. This is someone that actually could be starting in games. I don't know if that's the case, because here's the thing. Willy Adames is also a free agent at the end of the season. So possibly, we could possibly see him get traded in the middle of the season, We have Terang. I don't know if we're going to stick him at second base. I don't know if they're going to stick him at shortstop, but maybe Ortiz and Terang get into some competition for that spot. I feel like they'll keep Monasterio because of how much of a good contact hitter was last year. I think he will stay on the team. But definitely, this team is going to rely on younger people to get them through. I think the Rhys Hoskins thing was just a rental. I feel like, he'll only stay the whole year, or we might trade him. You never know. But this is an interesting This is interesting because now we know the true motive is that the Brewers are trying to get themselves in a phase where they could compete in the future. They know they can. Are they there yet? It's slowly coming together. I trust Matt Arnold. And you know what? We've managed to get some great draft picks. Jackson Chourio, Tyler Black, Sal Frelick, Garrett Mitchell, Joey Weimer. We traded for William Contreras. We also have another backup catcher who's going to be coming in, Jefferson Cuero. And then some young pitchers. We have going into this season, we have the second best farm system. That's something that has not happened in 20 years. Now, I know everyone's like, he hates our management for trading Burnes, but it had to happen. We weren't re-signing him. We don't have the money for him. That's what happens when you have a team that's has nobody. That no money, no nothing. So, and you're spending all your money on Yelich, that's what's going to happen. I know, obviously, I have a lot to talk about with the Brewers coming up because Cactus League, I think pitchers and catchers show up in about a week, which is crazy just to think about that. But it's going to be an interesting season. Do I think that they can compete in the future? Yes. Do I think they can compete right now? No. But this is a young team, and I think, personally, we're going to see a lot of things out of these young players that we thought we weren't going to see. I think our lineup is good enough to compete. It's just our pitching rotation is weak. And that, I think, obviously is the big problem. But, obviously, my last thank you will go to Corbin Burnes because he has been one of the best contributors for this team. It'll be weird to not have Burnes and Woodruff on the team next year. Our two best pitchers we've ever had, probably. But this is going to be weird. I think we're going to have to try to rely on hitting more and developing these young players that we have on this team to become stars. And I can't wait to see the future for this organization. It may not look pretty now, but maybe 5 years or so, things could change. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we will see you next time. Go Brewers!